Thank you very much for being with us. This is Love Life Now Foundation. We are going live to, again, always popping up to talk about the issue of domestic violence and keep the issue in the forefront as much as possible. I try to come on at least once a month now to try to bring on survivors that may be experiencing this issue, not just where you are, but from different parts of the world. And tonight I have a special guest, a fellow survivor all the way from Pakistan. And her name is Manu. And I'm not even going to attempt her last name because I'm going to screw it up. But her first name I have down. Marnu is joining us all the way from Pakistan. And I wanted to have her on because we've been in contact for some time now. And she shared a lot of her story. And I thought it was important to, again, continue to show what this issue looks like, not just from where you are, but again, across the world where domestic violence is affecting everyone at any given point. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter, your economic barrier, your financial status, where you live. It affects everyone. In Pakistan, where Manu is from, did you know that at least two-thirds of women are affected by this issue? Two-thirds, right? And at least 5,000 women are killed at the hands of their abuser. That's insane, insane numbers. And we're talking, so when I say two-thirds, that's 60 to 70% of women who suffer from domestic abuse in Pakistan. And as I mentioned, at about 5,000 women are killed annually from DV in the country. So I wanted to bring Manu on to talk about how this issue affected her, what it looked like for her, and how she got involved in a domestic violence relationship. So Manu, why don't you go ahead and start off by saying hi to everyone, and then also just letting people know how you got involved in a domestic violence relationship.
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Manu Tahir and I'm from Karachi, Pakistan. And it's true that a lot of girls here face domestic violence. We have great laws for it, but the girls facing it, they're so much scared that don't even take it as an option.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what happens if we go to the government? We'll go there and our case will start, and all the people will start blaming us. Victim blaming is very common here.
Yes.
It's always the girl's fault.
Mm-hmm.
So to not face that shame, they will not take a stand against these abusers.
So how did you get involved in your relationship? How old were you then?
I was 20 years old and I was studying in my university. It was first year of my university. I got married during my university as I was
Mm-hmm.
studying. So it was an arranged marriage. My ex-husband was a very reputable cardiologist. He was a doctor, and
He was
he was like, 30 years old. So it was like we all had this mindset that he is older, he is decent. He came, he was very, very civilized. These people are so manipulative that they show themselves at first that they are the best people in the world.
Yep, to reel you
But
in.
yeah, but when you start living with them, like sharing the same room with them
Hmm.
every day, then you get to know that this was just an illusion.
Hmm.
So I remember that I was engaged to this guy for like 1 year, and he was like always rushing my parents to get married really soon because to him, his plans for life was at 30 he has to get married, at 31 he has to have a kid.
Hmm. All planned out.
So yeah, so everything was planned out for him. And as I was the girl, like I just turned 20 when I was engaged to him. So my parents were like, it's the best thing, he wants you to study. He said that I'm going to let her do her studies, I'm going to make sure she studies and gets her diploma and everything. So it was like, this is the perfect man for me. He is like Prince Charming. He
Hmm.
wants, he's going to let me do everything I want to. I want to study this. I was studying fashion designing at that time.
Hmm.
uh, so it was like I'm like, okay, dad, if he wants me to study, that's the most important thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's fine because I wasn't interested in anyone. I had no issues with that. I was like, my parents are doing it. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like that. We as humans, we cannot get into the mind of anyone.
No.
We will always judge people by what they show us, but we cannot get into the mind of anyone. We cannot tell what actually a person is.
Yeah. So in the beginning, so you were 20 years old, he was
Yeah,
30. He was a doctor.
yeah.
On the onset, you're thinking a decent human being, your family loves the fact that you're with him,
Hmm.
and things are going great, right? And you believe, like you said, you can't get into the mind of anybody that you just start dating because you're just getting to know them. And they're presenting you, or he was presenting you with things that made him look like he was a decent person. So what
Exactly.
happened? What was the first sign that things were as he said it was? What did you first realize? When did you first realize that you were in an abusive relationship?
Well, my life actually turned upside down the day I got married to him.
The
Uh,
very first day.
yeah, it was like I had this verbal abuse from his parents. I was living in a joint family,
Mm-hmm.
so I would have his mom always at my back, pinpointing me with something that isn't even accurate. You know, like making the other feel down for no reason. And I was like, okay, maybe it happens here. In this day, in our in Pakistan, this Desi culture, it's very common
Mm-hmm.
that in-laws are not always good.
Supportive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
supportive, exactly. So I was like, okay, it's fine. It's like something that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Then after few months, I got pregnant with my son. I guess when I in February. I got married in December on December 27th, and I was pregnant with my son uh, in February. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
as you know that when a woman gets pregnant, she gets these hormonal. She is not okay. She's like either she's feeling these
Hormones are,
emotions. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
hormones.
are all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, but we have to suppress our stuff. We cannot show our emotions like the men of our society are allowed to. If we show, then we are crazy.
Yeah.
They do not understand the fact that we as humans are growing a human being inside of us.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
big thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I was, but in our society, parents teach their girls to always take it easy, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You are not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to say anything. You have to be the most civilized one in any argument. You have to be the most well mannered one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's fine. But I remember this when I was 4 months pregnant, and I was still doing my university. My university started, and I was pregnant. I didn't know that I was getting these headaches, and I was dizzy at some point, and I wasn't working properly as a normal human does. So I remember there was this fight over you're supposed to make gold roti. The dinner. So they
Yes.
were they were forcing me to make all the food for them.
Yeah.
Breakfast, dinner, lunch. I was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And this was the family of he had three brothers. He was the oldest son. He has
Mm-hmm.
two twin sisters who were older than me, 1 month older than me. I was the
Mm-hmm.
youngest in their family at that
Yeah.
point. So yeah, it was like that, and he, it was messed up. Their family was
So
messed up. It
so
was really hard for me.
so
Then we
so
had some.
just to give some context here. So you
Yeah,
married into this family. You were expected to take care of not just him, but his family as well, in terms
yeah,
of making breakfast, lunch, dinner.
yeah,
Even though there were daughters and his sisters present.
yeah,
So it
exactly.
was almost like you became an immediate slave between the verbal put downs, not just from them, but also from him, from the day that you married.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at first he wasn't verbal abusive to me. But the day I there was a day I just snapped. I said, that's
Mm-hmm.
it. I can't take it. I'm having
Yeah.
all these emotions and this pressure on me that I have to get up so early, even though I can't.
Yeah.
I Because I'm having this sickness, and
Morning
all night I
sickness.
had,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and all night I can't get a good sleep, and they expected me to get up so early in the morning and make breakfast for them, no matter if somebody's
Mm-hmm.
up or not. So I was having this, why am I forced to do something when you have two sisters who are totally normal, they can help you, and they're having this problem that this girl has came into our family, we have to cook one more roti for her. We
Yeah.
cannot do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had a fight over this, and my friend from school came. The first time he abused me, my friend from school came, and I was showing her that I have this perfect family. I was portraying her like I was faking it.
Yeah. Sure.
But my mother-in-law, she just created a big mess, in front of her. And as she left, she knew me. She was my childhood friend. She said to me, "What? Where have you got stuck, Manu? These
Yeah.
are not good people." And I was so
Yeah.
ashamed at that moment. I said, "No, it's fine. It's happened. It happens." She said, "No, you're not like this. I know you. How can she come and say something bad about you? You are my best friend." I said, "It's
Yeah.
okay. Just brush it off." I didn't say anything to anyone. I never said anything to anyone. But that night, I said this to my husband, ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
told him that this happened, and this isn't. I'm not comfortable with this. If
Mm-hmm.
there's something happening, at least just keep it inside these boundary walls, inside this home. Don't show
Yeah.
it in front of
The sh-
everybody. It's
yeah.
embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what happened. He wouldn't listen to me, and I remember
Mm-hmm.
him remembering turning the TV off so that he listens to me, and matlab, he wasn't listening to me. And then
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you're not going to listen to me, just go. Let me go back to my home. I have to go back
Right.
home
Yeah.
because I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
And he just snapped. He got up from the bed. He pushed me into the bed like, and he was pressing me into the bed. I couldn't breathe, and I
Oh.
was like, "What are you doing? Let me go!" And I said, "I want to take a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be with you." And at that moment, he just jumped off and went to the washroom. I don't know why did he do that, but I was shivering. I'm not safe here anymore. I
Yeah.
said, I have to
So
call
you
my parents.
knew. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was this story is like this is happening like 3 a.m. in the morning, and my parents are obviously sleeping. And I just texted. I was trying to text my parents and reach out to them, but they weren't available. I said that I don't know, but take me to my parents, or I'll get a cab and I'll go. And he said, "You'll take your you want to go out at 3 a.m. This is not what good girls do.
Yeah.
In this
Wow.
society, this is not good." And I remember he snatching my phone so that I cannot call a cab, and then he hit me. And at that time, my nobody hit. I've never faced this, so it wasn't a normal hit. It was I couldn't talk, I couldn't breathe at that moment, and I remember just crying for a whole hour, and he begging me that I'm sorry, I didn't meant to do this. He was begging me, and at that moment, I said I made up in my mind I can't live with him. I can't live with him. I remember getting up and going to the washroom to get freshened up to get this courage to tell him it's okay and just leave me. I want to go to my parents. And I was just faking it so that he would drop me off to my parents, and I'll just get into tell them whatever has happened, for
Mm-hmm.
support.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I went to the washroom, and my face was swollen. My whole half face was swollen. My lip was in swollen. My eyes when I wasn't opening, and
It
I
was
was like,
closed shut,
yeah, I was
swollen
like,
shut. Yeah.
what happened? What happened to my face? I couldn't see myself clearly. I had the courage to cover myself up, my half face up, that nobody sees when I walk outside. And he said, "Okay, I'll take you to your parents. Don't worry. Don't." He was like, "I'll help you. I'm sorry. Just forgive me." I said, "Okay, forgive you. Just let me go to my parents' house. I want to get comfort." I was faking it
Yeah.
because I had to get out of it.
Get out.
I,
Yeah.
re- I, and we were living in the joint family. It was like a three-bedroom apartment. It was really small. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember banging on the door so that anybody comes, helps me out before faking it, saying that drop me off. And nobody came. Nobody from the family came. And when he'd open the door, like, okay, it's fine, we'll just go out for a drive and then I'll drop you off at your parents. It's normal. Just forget it. I'm sorry. I said, okay.
Mhm.
I stepped out of the room, and his little brother, was
Mhm.
walking in the hallway,
Mhm.
making fries for himself. Everybody knew that there's something going wrong in this room, and they didn't even. I was crying for God's sake. I was shouting for help, and nobody came.
And so to again put context around this in Pakistan and many other in as well as India, right? It is almost completely acceptable for husbands to abuse their wives. It is completely acceptable for in-laws to even abuse their daughter-in-law. And nobody bats an eye because this is tradition. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, and so the position that Manu found herself in is not insanely uncommon in that part of the world. And it just adds another layer of violence that women in those situations endure. So I'm so proud, first of all, for you even being here and sharing your story so that it gives people a more wide view of what this issue entails. It's not just this one layer, oh, somebody hit somebody and then that's it. And then, they've had enough and they escape. That's not how this works. And in many countries, as Manu is describing, there's even an additional double set of layers that people have to try to figure out when they decide that they want to leave. So tell me now, you're in the abusive relationship. It continues to ramp up the level of violence. You've had your son, and now you're totally engrossed into the situation. He did not let you go, obviously, to your parents at any given point to go
no,
back
no, no.
home.
He took me back home. Yeah,
He did
I
that
remember.
particular night.
Yeah, he did. That's why I saw the whole of his family.
Yeah,
They saw that it was okay for them. I said
yeah,
maybe I'm the one. Maybe they didn't hurt me. At first, I
yeah.
thought that. But
Mm-hmm.
when I came home, I was like, that's it. I cried to my mom. I said, Mom, he hit me. And my mom just
Mm,
lost it there. My mom said,
yeah.
how could you hit her? And my dad is a person. He has diabetes,
Yes.
so he was sleeping at that time, and sometimes he's not well. So my mom tries to take all of the bad stuff to herself, and
Mm-hmm.
not let my dad face the bad stuff. So because he's diabetic.
He's not well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's not well. So my he discusses everything with his my mom and says that it's my fault. It's my mom's fault. I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix everything. My mom is like, okay, just go from here. We'll
Mm-hmm.
talk in the morning. Right now, Manu is not in any state to talk to you. So he left me. He was very apologetic at that time. But in the morning, when he called my mom, his tone was totally changed. He was like, "Yeah, so what?" He was like this to my mom.
Yeah, very
And
nonchalant.
yeah, so my mom was like, "How can you do this to her, and you are not talking in the same way you were talking to me last night?" So he said that I have told my family, and it was like his family was backing him up on this. They were
Of
supporting him.
course. Yeah.
So he was like, "I really don't care, and she has to adjust with me because she's my
Ah.
wife." So I was not okay with this. I remember
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sleep that night, and I was continuously thinking of, if I step out of this relationship, how can I give this life to my kid? And that was the guilt
Yeah.
for me that made me stop stepping out of it.
Yeah.
I,
So you stayed initially because of your child.
yeah, I was really really scared at that time that my kid might become an abuser,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody around me made me feel like it's okay. He just forgive him. I said
Yeah.
okay. I remember his parents calling me, one of his aunts calling me, and
Mm-hmm.
saying that come to me, I'll make everything better, and I'll question him, and I'll beat him and whatever. I said okay. I went to her, and I remember her saying these words to me, that it's okay. Even maids get beaten. And in the morning, their husband comes and they have cup of tea and they just brush it off. And I'm like, I'm no maid.
Right. I'm a wife that this
Yeah,
person
I'm his wife.
could
I'm his,
love.
yeah, I'm bearing his kid. I'm no maid. So she said, no, no, why did you talk bad about his mother? I said, she was torturing me and I was sharing this with him. I wasn't saying that go
Yeah.
and do something to your mom. I was just saying this is an issue and this needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
So I remember she calling my ex-husband and making everything okay between us. And I remember not looking at him at least for a month.
Hmm.
And as I went back that night in the morning, his mom was crying, looking at me. That why is she
Hmm.
here? Why did my son bring her back?
Yeah.
It was like it was a war between me and her. Either she stays or I stay. It was
Hmm.
like not spoken like this indirectly,
Hmm.
but it was like the messages and the body language that I was getting. It was like toxic. But
Hmm.
I went through my whole pregnancy in it, and I gave birth to my son Mustafa,
Hmm.
and he wasn't there when I gave birth to him. So he was in Lahore. That's another city. But I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll never hold this against you, even though it was not okay for me. But I said it's okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I remember I started my university when my kid was 3 months, even though I didn't want it to. I was like, I skipped my I freezed my semester when I got pregnant that I cannot take university and do anything foolish that makes my pregnancy hard and
Yeah.
my kid face this. So I said, this is my first kid. I'm going to be the best mom. I'm gonna protect him. Everything is planned, checklist. Everything is done.
Yeah.
But as I gave birth to him, my kid was diagnosed as a baby girl. In the
Oh,
ultrasound, it came that he is a baby girl. He is a baby girl, but it wasn't a baby girl when I gave birth to
yeah.
him.
To a boy. Yeah.
He was a boy. So in the society, there's a big thing when a girl gives birth to a baby boy. That means that you have a support. She is now reputable. Now
Yes.
she has given to a baby birth to a baby boy.
Because he can potentially carry on the lineage of the
Yeah,
family name. Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I was always scared of giving birth to a boy because I have 7 sisters. I do not have any boy. I have never faced any my parents bringing up a baby boy. I've never seen how I didn't know how to raise a baby boy.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
I have no my mom.
Experience.
Yeah, exactly. My mom has 2 sisters, no brother. I had 7 sisters, no brother. And
Hmm.
when I had Mustafa, my baby, he was the first from our family boy, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I remember when I was pregnant, I was having this talk with my ex-husband that if I give birth to a boy, what will happen? I mean, how can I take care of him? I do not know how to raise good men. I have
Yeah.
never been around men, and I
You've
was
been around
scared that I'm
girls.
going to fail. I'm going to fail being a raising a good man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was scared for about that. So he said
So
to me, yeah,
so you finally realized that you were having a boy.
yeah,
The pregnancy came out okay, thank God he was born
yeah.
okay. And so let's talk about, because I wanna be mindful of the time and I want to get as much as of your story in. So tell me what happened. Now you're fully enveloped in this relationship. Um and your son is now here. Let's move to when he's about maybe 3 years old, maybe 4 years old. What's happening in the relationship at that point?
My son is right now 2.6 years old. He
Oh, he's two
he's
and a half. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So he was 3 months when I again started my university. He forced me
Mm-hmm.
to start university,
Mm-hmm.
even though knowing that his parents won't allow me the way everything is going. But he forced me. I said, okay, fine. If you want me to, I'll do it. Even though it's getting really hard for me to do anything to be a basic mom. It's really hard for me in this family
Yeah.
because after the kid arrives, your timetable is jeopardized. Your
Yes.
night, you're not getting your nights. You're not getting your days. Everything is just you're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I remember second time when he abused me, it was in front of my kid, and at
Mm-hmm.
that time, I was having my mids examination in the morning, and
Mm-hmm.
my kid was crying all night, and he
Mm-hmm.
came from his shift, and he just slept on the bed, and and all of his family sleeping, and I'm like, I have to get this done. I have to get. I have my paper yet tomorrow, and I have to submit this. Can you please just take care of the kid? I'm trying to wake him up. He was awake. He was just acting like, I don't want to do it. I'm too tired. I said,
Mm-hmm.
at least just hold the kid, or else he'll fall.
Yeah.
He'll fall from the bed. I'm working in another room. So I remember him getting up, and he just hit me. And this time he didn't hit me with shame. He kept on hitting me till I was dragged into a wall. And my son witnessed this. He was awake. He was seeing this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I I I just grabbed my son and I ran into the bathroom and I locked myself in it. I said I
Mm-hmm.
cannot go outside. And I remember my mother-in-law um, knocking on the bathroom and unlocking it and
Mm-hmm.
just taking the kid from me
And
and not
left you there.
asking me, yeah, and not asking me what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
She said, just give me the kid. Is Mustafa okay? I'm like, you're not supposed to be I'm not someone he is supposed to be afraid of. He is the person that I was protecting him from. But
Right.
no, she was like, it's fine, just give me the kid, don't do anything to the kid. I said, why would I do anything to my kid? And my
Yeah.
mom came that night, and at that night I cried in my mom's lap and I said, Mom, I think we have made a really big mistake.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't get me what I'm saying, but I was like continuously crying, Mom, we made a big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I I took my kid, and I went again. I went back home. Every time he hit me, I went back home.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom took care of my kid. My mom always took care of my kid. They weren't even able to take care of their own blood.
Yeah, grandchild. Yeah.
Yeah, when I ever used to leave my child on them, he would go starving for the. If I won't be home for 7 hours, he won't eat for 7 hours, and they won't feed him. And when I come back home, at that time he would be having the first meal of his day, and I was
Oh,
like, this cannot happen. The kid won't say, I want food. You're going supposed to give him food.
have to, yeah. He's a baby. Like, my
Yeah, he's
God.
a baby.
So tell me,
And
so Manu, again, so I want to be mindful of time. So I want to know, at this point now, which is horrible. You're going through this relationship, and like a lot of victims when they're in the relationship, they like you immediately knew that you wanted out, right? But there
yeah,
weren't a whole lot of avenues that you found that you could get out, right? Again, traditionally, this was completely accepted. So, you know, how long did the relationship last, or the
3
marriage?
years, 3 years.
2 years, 2 years.
Yeah,
Okay. So now let's say a year and a half into the relationship, where is your mindset at then? What were you
I
thinking? When did you realize, like, I have to get out, I have to leave? And how did you figure out next steps on how to leave?
at that time the option of stepping out of this marriage was completely demolished. I was like, there's
Mm,
no way out, and I was so I was depressed. I was like, what? How am I supposed to live? So he would I would discuss this with him. I can't discuss this with my parents as I know that they cannot do anything, and they have said to me that you have to try to. I think I thought that okay, now I'm gonna be the perfect woman for this man.
mm-hmm.
Everything is about I'm going to do everything perfect. Maybe that will make my life
Change
better.
him. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is me praying 5 times a day, taking care of my baby, still breastfeeding him. I was a lactating mother, so I was doing everything I could as a human being, as a
Mm-hmm.
mom, as a wife, as a
As a
daughter. I
wife.
was doing everything,
Yeah.
and it wasn't good enough for him. And
Mm.
I found him. Again, the fights were on and off, and I was never the perfect person for him. Even though everybody said that you are so lucky, every one of his friends said you are lucky, and they didn't
Mm-hmm.
know every what was going behind closed doors.
Behind
And I
closed
was
doors. Yeah.
I was just like smiling, yeah. And they were like, "Man, you have the best wife. She's taking care of your kid like it's nothing. And look at our wife." They were just comparing me, and I was like, "It's not." I was just. It was the fake. It was everything was fake.
Yeah, you were
Nothing
walking
was
around
real.
like everything was okay,
Yeah,
but you were completely depleted
the best.
inside.
Yeah, and I remember I said to him, I crying for no reason, and I said to him, because there was nobody who's supposed to, I was supposed to talk to this about this.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
talking to my abuser, and I'm saying to him that I don't feel okay. I can't get a good night's sleep. Even if
Yeah.
even if the kid is sleeping, I cannot sleep. I'm not feeling this ease in myself. I've lost everything. I don't feel the peace I used to.
Yeah.
I'm not at peace. So he says that, okay, maybe we can go to the therapist, and I'll get you a doctor, and we'll talk, and we'll take counseling. You will take counseling since you are not a
Mhm.
feeling okay. It was like this one. I said,
Yeah.
okay. We went to the doctor. We went to the doctor, and there the doctor said that I alone have to talk to her. So she just said,
Mhm.
sir, can you please step outside? And I'm talking to her, and I told her everything I went through.
Yeah.
So the doctor said that you have to get a lawyer.
Mhm. So
So
they gave you that confidential
yeah,
information.
the doctor said that to me, and she said that you are completely fine. You are completely fine. The things actually you have faced, this is the side effect of that thing. That's the
Okay.
trauma that you're faced.
That you're going through. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot bottle that up. That's wrong. You have to
Mhm.
go get a, or just get a marriage counselor.
Mhm.
I said, she said, okay, I'm gonna give you gazebos.
Yeah.
You know,
What is that?
gazebos, like, I'm gonna give you these medications which aren't for anything. That's
Okay.
just for your
Okay.
mental peace.
Oh,
That you're eating
placebos.
some.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. She said that maybe then you'll get better
Mhm.
because you have nothing wrong. And she asked me, is there anything, do you feel the tension because of the baby? I said, no, I don't feel any pressure because of the baby. I feel nothing about that. So she said, okay. Then he steps in, and he's this doctor that everybody knows, and he works at that hospital, and that doctor doesn't, that girl, she was a lady. That therapist didn't see him the way she saw him when he came into the room, and she
Yeah.
was like, you have to take her to a marriage counselor. You both need counseling, because eventually a marriage counselor is someone who will record this abusive behavior, and he
Mhm.
will help me to get out of it.
Mhm.
So I remember that was the first and the last time I went to the doctor. After that, he
Mm.
didn't take me to the doctor. He said, you don't need anything.
Mm. Wow. And so
And
that's interesting that the therapist mentioned that you should go to a marriage counselor,
yeah,
because a marriage counselor would make it seem to me that the abuse that you're experiencing is partly your fault. Marriage counseling is supposed to work with both parties, right? Instead of just the perpetrator, which he was, not help to fix you. You're not doing anything to yourself. He's doing it to you.
yeah,
So it's interesting that they suggested marriage counseling. That would almost make, to me, say that you're part of the problem. So you need to get help too. And that's not what this was.
yeah. So
Um,
she actually, she was some kind of friend of this my ex-husband. So as
yeah,
we stepped out of this room, he's like, what did she say? I was like,
yeah,
just a normal talk. I told her I can't sleep. I'm having these stressful thoughts and everything. So he said, did she say that you are sick or anything? I said, no. She just said I'm stressed and I'll get better and whatever. So he, on the other hand, was trying to portray me to his family that I am sick. I'm mentally
see,
sick.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, so that they won't take me even more serious. They are not taking me seriously right now. They won't take me
already.
seriously then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So he was having building up these excuses for my parents. You know, my
yep,
parents were like, "This is not okay. That's not okay for our girl to face."
mm-hmm,
That my parents were saying this to him. So he was just bringing these excuses, and at times he would give me these medicines. I remember taking them, and I would not remember why did I fought. Why did we fight?
wow,
And I was so naive. I was having my whole trust on him. I was like, he's the doctor, he's giving me the right thing, I'm eating it because I'm gonna get better. And
mm-hmm,
I started thinking that actually I am the part of the problem. That's what I was thinking.
yeah,
uh, and I remember I was in university. I'm having this. awful life at home, and I would come late to my university, not telling any of the teachers that I'm a mom, and I have a read problem. I have this problem at my home, and I remember I was going through hell with my studies. I would get uh, my parent teachers wouldn't say that you're not somebody special. If you're late, then you have to go out of the class and just face your punishment. And I would
Wow.
not discuss anything with anyone because I was so ashamed and embarrassed that if I
Mm-hmm.
tell anybody that I'm getting beaten because by my husband, they won't look at me the way they do.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't tell anybody this. After
Mm-hmm.
a while, he made me think that I'm living with his parents. That's the problem. Maybe we'll get a separate house, and
Mm-hmm.
our problems will.
Would change.
Yeah, he made me think like that. So again, stuff happened. This time when he hit me, I didn't call my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself that I'll call my parents, nothing will change. They'll get into more stress, and nothing is changed ever for me. Nothing will change now for me. So I said that
Mm-hmm.
when he hit me, I was quiet. I just kept. He hit me in the on the walking stairs, and it was so embarrassing. But I just covered myself up. My I was wearing this hair clip that broke
Oh
when
wow.
he hit, and I just covered myself up so that nobody could see me crying and shivering. And he was having my kid in his hands when he was doing everything. He was not
Mm.
thinking of what will affect the kid. That this is not something that kids are supposed to see.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
my kid used to cry when he was sleeping. At nights he
Mm-hmm.
would cry, and I was feel this tension that he's feeling, and I was not okay with it. I said, why
Mm-hmm.
my kid is feeling this tension when he does not deserve this? When I'm
Is
going through thick
is
and
that
thin.
yeah? So is that what made you finally decide to leave?
Yeah,
Was the fact that
exactly.
your son was being a witness to all of what you were experiencing?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
the last time I remember, I found out he was cheating on me like numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a woman has to be the most forgiving person on earth, and I forgive
Mm-hmm.
him because I'm a very good wife and I take whatever. So this time again something happened. It was very normal. We have separated our homes from his family. So now this guy comes up to me and I'm like, what is the matter? What am I supposed to do that's going to fix everything? Why are we again and
Mm-hmm.
again fighting if we have separated our homes? Why can't we
Mm-hmm.
live in peace?
Right.
So I said I'll do anything to make everything okay. Just tell me what it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
He then reveals his dark desires in front of me and he says that um, okay, let's start making random people our friends. I said, what? So I said, here I cannot even get one guy, one kid and one guy to keep calm in one roof, under one roof. How can I make more friends right at this point in my life? He said,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's just the stress, and you start making more guy friends, and I'll start making more girlfriends,
Yeah.
and totally random people from Facebook. And I'm so exhausted at this time I cannot even resist. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, yeah. And then he said, I'll bring these girls at home and random people, random girls from Facebook at home, and who if you like somebody, if you start to like somebody, you just tell me, okay, and I'll get married to anybody I like apart from you, but
Yeah.
but from your permission.
By your
And then
permission. Yeah.
yeah, and I just snapped it. I said, that's it. In my mind, I said, this has to end, because if you are not even loyal to me, you are trying to
Right.
bring these ladies in the
Other
home, and I have this
women.
baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
I said my kid will be ruined, and I'm
Yeah.
trying my best to give him uh, to trying not to raise him like his father.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want him to be like that.
And he's trying to invite other women into the marriage.
Yeah, and
And
this,
thinking that you would accept that would be okay
yeah,
because you already are sticking around for the abuse. So why would she not and want to entertain another woman if that's what it takes to keep me happy? Is
yeah.
what he's thinking. Yeah.
So at this point, I did not say anything. I did not resist. I said, okay, I have to play smart now. If he's really serious, if he's not joking, then this is a really big thing for me, because I will not share my life partner with anyone. And
Yeah.
if he
Yep.
if he's this trashy, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna keep him. Then he has
Yeah.
nothing in good for me to stay in, and my kid is not going to get anything good out of staying with him.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
He is too toxic for me and the kid.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
at this point, I call he is totally chill. He is like, I said, okay, okay. Then I said, are you out of your mind? You know this is a sin. We are religious people. I'm a Muslim. I live in a Muslim society. My parents are Muslim. He is Muslim. His parents are Muslim. So I'm like, this is a sin. Are you out of your mind? And he's
Yeah.
like, he just brushes this off. And I said, okay, let's go with the flow this time. Now this time I'm not gonna do this.
Right.
I'm not gonna get trapped into this trap. So eventually, he was a trainee doctor at that time.
Mhm.
He used to go out to trainees had to go every month out for their jobs in different branches of their hospital. Like if we are living in Karachi, there's also a branch of the same hospital in Sakkar or in any city, and they get the transfer there for a week, and you have to work there for a week.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that month he got his transfer to another city, this his home place where he grew up.
Yeah.
So he said, I'll drop you off at your parents' home and you stay there for 6 days, and I'll get back and I'll take you, because
Yeah.
now we're living separately. You cannot live alone here. I said, yeah, okay, fine.
Okay.
So I go to my parents' home. I remember him. My At that same time is a day my parents were having their flight to UK, because my other sister is having a baby in UK at that time.
Okay.
So they, both my parents and two of my baby sisters, just are having a flight to UK,
Mhm.
and that's the
Mhm.
day that that's the day before the lockdown in Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I met my parents. They went to UK. They reached there successfully. Now he has gone to Hyderabad. I'm here with my sisters, and
Mhm.
I'm trying to talk this out with my mom.
Yeah.
And again, everything is trying to be neutralized, you
Yeah.
know. And here the lockdown has
Happened.
started. Yeah,
Yep.
flights are not. The
Canceled.
planes are not flying anywhere. My parents are stuck in UK for 4 months,
Yeah.
and my dad knew there was a fight going on between us when they were leaving. So he said to my ex-husband that do not fight till I get back, do not do anything till I get back.
Yeah.
So he said, okay. My dad was supposed to come back after 15 days, but he couldn't.
Mhm.
So this is me with my kid, and my kid was just like 1 year 6 months at that time.
Mhm.
He just started walking. Now
Mhm.
we're here. Coronavirus is on its peak. My husband, the doctor, has nowhere to be found. He didn't come
Yeah.
back to me.
Wow.
He didn't contact me. He didn't. He even blocked me from everywhere. I remember last time talking to him on the phone, and I said that I'm trying to discuss that why is this happening? He's trying to make up like we are a perfect family and whatever. But I'm like, why is this happening? If the separating a house was a problem, then now why I'm still facing this rubbish?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make him feel that he is the problem. You need therapy. I'm trying to make him feel that way. But
Yeah.
he is like, no, you are the problem.
Yeah, and so
And
that's a big I want to interject there because that's again abusers do not ever assume responsibility for the things that they're doing to victims. It's never their fault. It's always what you did. It's always your fault. And so that was what he was saying there was completely common, right? And as the manifesto goes for abusers, that's typical abuser behavior. So
yeah,
so he picked up, he left, went to go on this training in another city, but then the coronavirus hit. And he is like, he never came back. And you're home with your, well, you were in the UK with
no,
your, or you were at
no,
home, at their home
I'm at home. My parents are at
because they couldn't
UK.
fly. Yeah.
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 So he came back after 6 days from Hyderabad to Karachi to our home, that apartment, but
Yeah.
he didn't never came to pick me up from my parents' home.
Yeah. He just left you
Yeah,
there. So now
yeah.
you have a child for him, his son, that He just abandoned. He
Yeah.
doesn't is acting like he has no family. But on the outside, he's telling everybody that everything is great.
Yeah, no, he is telling his parents that I have left because their parents are calling him that why aren't you coming? Where's our grandson? So he is portraying this to his parents that she has said
That
she
you
will.
left.
Yeah, I left,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate his family. This is what he said to his parents that I'm going to leave her. I cannot live with her because she doesn't like my parents.
Mm-mm.
He figured this out after spending 3 years with me and after I giving birth to his child.
Mm-hmm.
So and well, whatever is happening, I'm living here. I'm sunking in. I sank into deep depression. I was
Depression,
like,
yeah.
what the hell is going on? Because I this was something I thought in my mind that I leave, but I was still thinking about it. I was processing it
Mm-hmm.
because I was at this moment I was programmed. I was actually programmed to accept everything.
Yep. You were
So
all to
for me stepping out of this was a big thing. My mind was continuously telling me to do it, but I was like, it's not possible. I was looking at
right.
my kid, I was looking at him playing, and I was like, how can I do this to him?
Yeah, bring him back into that toxic
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
So I remember things went on. He never came back. This to this day, he didn't came back. But I
Mhm.
was his wife till 7th of December. That's the day I actually finally got divorced from him. So
Congratulations.
finally, so this is the thing. My parents again, they're like, maybe you're just hyping stuff up because they weren't there. So they were
Yeah.
like, maybe you're feeling a little, you're too sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
But the great thing about social media is that nothing can hide on it. So there's this group on Facebook in our in they that's named as All Gucci Rampage or something like that. That's where all the fuck boys profile checks are posted. And I didn't knew that because I was too busy in my life. But as I was here alone, I started searching his name everywhere. Since he blocked me, I was like, oh, I have to talk to him. I was like, I can't live without it.
There's a
Not a
lot of
day.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I was searching him everywhere. So I searched his name on this group, and a profile check came popped up. So some random girl, there were two profile checks posted from his by for his account. One was 1 year before. That was the date before I gave birth to my son. And then there was the date of 2020 14th April. And he left me on 10th March 2020 here at my parents' house. And I just snapped. I said, that's it. He is planning for another marriage.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you are right. So you are not living with him. You guys are still married, and he never contacted you, never checked in on his son. And at this point now, you're on Facebook, right? The coronavirus is at its right high point, and
Yeah.
you go into this group where all these guys are typically sort of searching for or usually with other women, and you put his name in and his name pops up and he has not but one but two profiles.
Yeah, it's all girls group. And that's the safe place, safe group for girls where if they're dating someone, they'll just enter his profile and ask all the ladies if this is okay, if this guy is safe to be with, is he an abuser or is he violent or whatever.
Yeah,
And
so that
girls would
it's
help
like a
him, help her. Yeah,
it's like a community background check
yeah,
on
exactly,
Facebook. Yeah.
exactly.
I love it.
So
So wait a minute. I just want to say, because we're short on time, I want to get some comments in here. So this Sylvia said abusers, when we talked about them never accepting responsibility, she said never. She agrees absolutely. Rosa said when you were talking about you him going back and telling you when he dropped you off and never came back, and telling his family that you left, she said this is his way of looking like the victim. So when the truth showed up to his parents and people that believe him, it will be like, that's not true. She's the one that left him. And then also, Rosa said, nothing is wrong with you. I completely agree. Only you know what you had to deal with. So respectfully, thank those that suggest you should stay. So respectfully, thank those that suggest you should have stayed You should have stayed and work it out. Don't settle. And you did the right thing, right? So now don't accept the apology. It will never get out. It will never get better. I think is what you want to say. And then live your best life. Yes, live your best life now. And we're so proud of you. That's Rosa. Thank you so much, Rosa, for that. There are people, and I think people do not understand when people exit these relationships how much it takes to get to a point where you're like, to hell with that. I'm never going back. Because a lot of victims, like Manu, she went back a lot of times. And that's common because you have so many things to think about. It's not just you, it was her and her son, and she wanted to keep the family together. She wanted to do better in this guy's eyes, but there was really there was no getting better in this situation. As well as in many other domestic violence relationships, there is no getting better. So Manu, at this point, tell me what your life is like now. You found out that he was trying to pick up other women. We know that, right? um, what is your life like now?
My life is great now. I'm living the best life. I'm
Yes.
thriving. I have no worries to be accepted by anyone. Everybody over here loves me. I don't have to prove myself every day. Like, please like me. What I have to
Yes.
do to just in this. And actually, the thing was that as I didn't complete that how it actually ended. uh, There's a part that's left. As my parents, can I just carry on with it
Yeah.
if we have time?
Yeah.
So as my parents came back, my parents, as being the most understandable parents, because they were like, going to let we are not going to we don't want you to ruin your own marriage, so
Hmm.
we'll just try to talk to his parents. And they went to his parents place,
Hmm.
and there everything was messed up. Their parents were, it was like I have done something wrong to him.
I believe it.
Yeah. So he was like, she said this about my mother, she said this about my aunt, and that's why I didn't came back to pick her up. And I'm just looking at his face. My dad said to me, Manu, you have to stay calm, because I was the girl, I was the tomboy of my house.
Yeah.
I was the girl nobody messed
Outspoken.
with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was lost after marriage.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I just kept on looking at him, and he would disrespect my father so much. He was shouting on my dad like, I have done something wrong. Your daughter is like this. And my
Hmm.
dad and my dad said, my dad was kept quiet. He kept patient, and he said, just Manu, just let's go. Let's
Hmm.
get your stuff and let's go. And I
Yeah.
remember him uh, uh, collecting all of my documents and coming back home. And even though my dad tried to reason with his dad, because it, this profile checks, this everything wasn't enough for proof. So one of his side chicks contacted me after I commented on that post that I'm his wife and he is married, and I am with his son. So
Hmm.
one of the girls he was seeing and promising, he's actually a predator.
Hmm. Yeah.
When she came to me, she was 17-year-old girl.
And you were 20 at the time you got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when now I'm talking about 2020, when we are getting about to get divorced, I'm about to file for divorce.
Hmm. At
So
that
here
time.
a girl, 17-year-old girl comes up to me, and she's crying, and she's saying that this is the man. He is saying he's going to get married to me in 5 months. And he said that he is divorced. I said, sorry girl, he is not divorced. I'm still
Mm.
his wife, and I
Yeah.
have his kid. And she said that he says that his wife was bringing him, uh, she was crazy and whatsoever. I said, so sorry, but this is not
Typical.
true.
Yeah.
She provided me with all of his voice recordings. He promising her that he is divorced, he's single dad, and he is giving her all the fake promises that I'm going to marry you and whatsoever. So
Right.
she wasn't the only girl who was facing this. Different girls approached me, and they said that your husband has been in a relationship with us, and he didn't tell us that he was married. But as he was we were like gonna get serious. I was about to get my parents involved. A lot of girls
Hmm.
said this to me, approached me.
Yeah. Hmm.
So he backed off and he said, I'm married. But this time, uh, So this, I have this recording of him. I still, that recording, I can't just get his voice out of my head. And
Mhm.
he's promising this girl that, I'm gonna marry you. I love you. This is a 17-year-old girl, and this is a 34-year-old guy.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm. Yep.
and he, what, my parents have that recording. I have it. I just don't want to talk about it again. But I remember that after getting back from his home, seeing that we have no respect there, it's obvious they want us to leave.
Yeah.
They, because his parents knew he had a problem.
Yeah. 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 But they
So
would
their
not
parents
speak
were
out
like,
against it.
yeah, they
Mhm.
were like, if we'll get him married to a girl, to a younger girl, maybe she'll change him. How am I supposed to change the man who you couldn't change for 30 years?
Right.
How I, a
Right.
20-year-old girl, supposed to change someone?
Right. And so
Uh,
right. So it's to be understood that as a victim, it is not your job to seek to change anybody, right?
exactly,
It is their job to not put their hands on you, to not verbally abuse you, to not emotionally abuse you. And that starts from very young as a child, being and learning the concept of what healthy relationships are, maybe based on what he saw from his parents. He learned that behavior, but it's not our job to figure that out. It is not our job to fix them, right? Just the same way as if it were, on the other foot. It wouldn't have been his job to fix you if you were the abusive one, and you clearly were not. But they were not going to speak out against it. So unfortunately, we have 3 minutes, and what I want to wrap up by saying is that you are living and thriving now, which is so good to see. I can see the glow in your face. I can see, right? It's a natural happiness. We've been talking for a while, Manu. Manu and I connected on Instagram. And after hearing her story, I just thought it would be so dope to bring her on to again show the different layers of what abuse looks like around the world. Our last guest that we had was from Mexico, and he was a man, and he talked about what being a child witness to abuse looked like. And now, Manu from Pakistan, she's talking about the additional layers that victims face in those types of relationships. I'll reiterate again that women that are in these types of relationships in that part of the world, they have these additional pieces to it. It's not just you marry your man and you go off and you live behind closed doors and you get physically beaten, emotionally depleted, verbally abused. You marry into the family, right? So it's a collaborative thing, and it all goes in one, right? So if something's happening with you, they bring the drama, or not the drama, the problem to the heads of the household, and they have to hash it out, as she talked about. Her parents came over to his parents and they blamed one another and for what the problems were and all of that. And so you have that piece that you're dealing with. Not only is your man, can your man be potentially abusive there, but his family also could be also
yeah,
abusive as well, right? Right. And so power and control, not just from one source, but from all the sources. So you have it coming to you left, right, and center. And then you have your son, right, who is potentially watching all of this. And not, you have to wonder, like, is my child going to repeat this behavior? And it's up to us to make the choice to want to leave out of that situation. So on the screen, as you can see, I put up the helpline for Pakistan's helpline, that you can report domestic violence cases to. It is through the Ministry of Human Rights in Pakistan. That is obviously not the only helpline that is available. The number is 1099, or you can download the Ministry of Human Rights app to get in contact with someone. But please do your research, figure out what the domestic violence help is in your city, call the helpline to maybe figure it out from where you are. And if you know somebody that might be in that type of situation in that part of the world, they can seek help through the app or calling 1099. Manu, this has been so enlightening. I know we've spoken again via Instagram messaging, and we've exchanged a whole lot of messages there. But I just
yeah.
thank you enough for sharing your story because, again, people have to understand that this issue isn't just black and white. And I'm not talking about color, I'm talking about stages and levels that people can experience it. And to hear you talk about being a young woman, 20 years old, and entering this marriage and having the abuse from the onset, day one, from when you were married, um, ensue, and then realize that, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, this is a really bad, messed up situation. And not even your parents could help because, you're already married off and your dad's
Yeah.
not well and you don't want to, impede more, you know,
There's
more
this pressure of the society.
pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it was hard. So I want to give some comments to people. People have been so supportive on this chat. Thank you guys for joining. I know Manu appreciates you. She was so nervous about sharing her story, and I told her no. The Love Life Now community is going to embrace you, and that they have. Rosa said leaving is the scariest part for many, many of us. She also is a survivor. Um, Sylvia agrees. Rosa said, once you know your worth, other people's like are extra. I think you want to say life.
Exactly.
And then Sylvia said, stay strong, take care, you and your son, hugs and hugs. And Tanika, who just chimed in, also said, you are very brave for sharing your story. Continue living your best life. And I concur with that. Marnu, is there anything parting that you want to say to folks? Is there any advice that you want to give somebody in your part of the world that might be experiencing this issue? What advice would you give them?
Okay. Everything happens. Something bad happens to somebody in this world, but the
Mm-hmm.
most the most battling part is when you are supposed to heal from it. You've been
Mm-hmm.
injured. Okay. Now the recovery is even more painful. So I
Yep.
remember after divorce, I'm in my iddat. It's the time period from religious time period that a woman cannot marry if she's. Uh, this is the religious thing. So I'm
Yep.
bearing those 3 months, and it's hell. I have these memories, and I have my son, and I can't just get them out of my mind. I remember throwing the whole phone out of my moving car, so I don't
Yeah.
have to scroll down the whole pictures and everything.
Yep.
So over there, I had this group where this group of motherhood. Over there,
Mm-hmm.
I came across a little woman. She was also a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually in the stage of abuse, and I get to talk to her, and she shared her story with me.
Oh,
And
wow.
when she
Good.
shared her story with me, that's the time that actually I started healing from inside.
Wow.
I started feeling that I'm not the only one.
You're
If
certainly
this
not.
woman is going so much worse than me, and she's
Mm-hmm.
okay, she's having 2 kids, she's waking up every day, she's doing her job every day, I can do it too.
Yes. Yes. Amen.
So it's very important for you to share your experience so that you may help anyone who is actually hindering to step out of this abusive relationship. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not okay.
Yeah.
We
It's
have
not
to
okay.
understand it's not okay if
What's
somebody is
happening?
hitting you.
What
Yeah.
somebody's doing to you? Yeah.
If humans feel bad if we hurt a cat,
Mm-hmm.
if they see an animal in pain and they're like, oh, he why he's in pain, we have to help him.
You have to
So
help
why can't
him.
they feel this for each
This
other?
for humans, yeah, for
Yeah.
each other. So thank you for sharing that. That is insanely great advice. We are our sister's keeper. We are our brother's keeper. Thank you, Sylvia. Sylvia says, I'm a survivor. Thank you so much for sharing that. Again, because the more transparent we are and the more that we share with others and in our transparency, they can see themselves in us. And have hope that, again, A, they're not alone, but B, that there's life after abuse. And if, like you said, when that woman shared her story with you, you felt like, my God, okay, I'm not alone, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
And now I can start sort of the healing process. So I commend you. I give you all the big kudos, all the jazz hands, all of that. And I'm so excited that you could join us tonight. What time is it? I need people to understand. What time is it in Pakistan right now?
It's 6:05 a.m.
6:05 a.m. It is now
Yeah.
9:05 p.m. in my my neck of the woods. So we made this
Yesterday,
happen. And I'm so, and you're actually now, so today is the 7th there, it's the 8th
It, yeah.
in Pakistan right now. So thank you so much, I appreciate you. We're over time. But I know we'll be continually connected on social media, and I appreciate you again sharing your story. It's now on here for the world to be shared, and people can always come back and look at it. And I can't commend you enough. Thank you, Manu.
You're welcome. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye,
Love
everyone.
it.